Corriere dello Sport is opening today with a really big bold page that is scaring all the Juventini of the world with Juve, ecco le prove, Juventus, here are the evidences, Kean chiede un nuovo processo a gennaio. Kean is asking a new trial in January, and then they continue in red with rischio retrocessione. What does that mean? Risking to be demoted in a lower league. B, C, D, we don't know, and we don't have the answer in the pages of Corriere dello Sport. Who cares? This is not important. Important for Corriere dello Sport is to scare the Juventini of the world, to make sure that they are there and that they are not enjoying the baby Juve that we saw yesterday. But apparently Allegri is smiling because Kean, at least Kean, is there for that 1-0. Guys, we will try to speak about what are these evidences, why they are trying to scare again the Juventini, why are they doing it, because Corriere dello Sport, guys, it's not the only one that is speaking about that. A new trial about the profit cases, the plusvalenza, we'll go enter that one, but first of all, please, let me speak about football. Let me speak about what happened yesterday from Juventus win versus Rijeka, the Croatian team. Attenzione, we start immediately with a hello from my side because we are the 23rd of December. Ciao Juventini of the world. My name is Giuseppe. Welcome back on the channel. First of all, thank you. Thank you because yesterday during the live of the watch along, it was fantastic. We reached 23,000 Juventini on that channel, and this is simply fantastic. It was my target because some people told me, Beppe, you have to reach 23. Well, it was the target of the channel to reach them before 2023. We did it. Yesterday we won 1-0. 1-0. Is it enough? Yes, it's enough to continue the streak of clean sheets, which is great. Yesterday 1-0 versus Rijeka. All of us were expecting more goals. Not only the one, the fantastic one of Kung Fu Panda Moise that scored with his knee yesterday. Beautiful goal, really beautiful. But he needed 3 attempts, really 3 big attempts to score that one after flopping the 2 first one. Disaster, Moise in that first half. Luckily he was there for that goal. Goal that will help him also mentally. You see in the double page of Tuttosport there are 4 different topics. You see the individual ratings of the players. I want to give my opinion about what we saw yesterday. They are speaking about, of course, the game itself, how it went, and then they are speaking about Scanavino. Scanavino, the new general director that made his first appearance in the Juventus stadium as a general director. He spoke also to the team, reassuring them. We'll go through these words. So what did I think about the game of yesterday? Well, first of all, it's a friendly. Let's put it in context. Winning or drawing or losing, whatever the result, it's less important. It's still important to win, and that's what we did yesterday, but less important. Why? Because it will not change the destiny of Juventus in Serie A, in Europa League, or in Coppa Italia, and that's an important one. It was an important test versus Arsenal. We saw that Juventus was asked or maybe forced and obliged to defend a lot, and we saw how strong they were defensively, even playing with Rugani, Riccio and Gatti. This time we changed Rugani because of the flu was out, and we played with the 2005 Huijsen. Well, the solidity in defense is still there, but we were looking for some answers from the baby Juve, the youngsters. Who are they? Who and when can they approach the first team? If we know that Ake is back, that Ealing Jr. finally has been promoted definitely, well, we were curious to see if Soulé could play an important role in the second part of the season. What about Gatti? Well, yesterday we started again with an 11 lineup. With the first news was that 4 World Cup players were back. We are speaking about Szczesny, McKennie, Milik and Kostic. The best one? Kostic that played 45 minutes, well, showing that he's still the normal Kostic, running on that left wing up and down, being able, when he has 1 meter 30 centimeters, the space to go with a cross. Sometimes he succeeds in the cross, sometimes he's failing the cross, but he's there. It's the same Kostic as he never went away. Weston McKennie still a big question mark for me. I'm not sure about his performance. Nothing really dramatically bad, nothing exceptionally well. He was there in the middle of the field. We are expecting a bit more from Weston McKennie if we want to see him as a starter versus Cremonese, because he will have to grow in his physical condition, but also in what he's bringing to that new Juventus that are a lot of people waiting to take his spot. We are speaking, for example, about Fagioli, Miretti, but also Barrenechea, Nongue, for example, and a lot of young players. What about the other ones? Well, Milik he needs a bit of time to come back. Szczesny did a fantastic save before being held by Locatelli. Speaking about the one that didn't go to the World Cup but that were there, Locatelli, he trained before everyone, and we are seeing the results here. Yesterday and versus Arsenal, a real leader in that middle of the field, a pillar. He was there, a pioneer, showing a lot of maturity. Really great for Locatelli. I was super impressed by his performance defensively, but this time also offensively. Really beautiful from Manuel Locatelli, that was honored for the first time to wear that captain band in the second half when Szczesny was out. It was not given to Perin or to another player, it was given to Locatelli, and he was also taking this responsibility. Really great. Another one that made me smile and also I was happy about was Matthias Soulé. Why? Because we know it, 3-5-2 is not his favorite formation, but yesterday he was showing some grinta, but also a lot of technical abilities that I always saw when he was playing with the youth league, with some difficulties to show them in that first part of the season. He's saying, I'm here and I want to stay. I want to convince Allegri. I believe that with the test of yesterday, he did quite well. Curious to see him in the next game, one day before the end of the year, on the 30th of January, versus Standard de Liège. Fagioli, ups and down yesterday, more ups than down, but some really dangerous one in lacking concentration. And it's not the first time that we are doing these kind of strange back passes. Kean, we already said, big flop in some occasions, but then he was there to score a goal and to give continuity to all the goals that he scored before the international break. Gatti, better. He played better already. And then we had the two new starters, or at least Riccio. It's his second game in a row as a starter, and he did fantastically well. Riccio, a player that was not mentioned a lot of time in the youth academy. We sponsored so many other names. Well, Riccio, without too much PR, he was showing again yesterday a lot of solidity in defense. Really, really great. He's growing. Are we really worried about the future of our center backs? I don't know. If I see the performance of Alessandro Pioriccio, and it was not the only one, because we started with a guy born in 2005, Dean Huijsen from the Netherlands, both from Malaga. Mamma mia, yesterday he impressed me. He's tall, 1.95 m. He speaks Italian better than me. Super fluent, fantastic. He's super young, 17, 2 years at Juventus. Guys, this guy has a future. In post-game interview, he said, well, what did the mister told me? He said, don't be worried, if you're here, it's because you have the quality. Big sign of trust from Allegri, that after the game also spoke really well about Dean Huijsen. Well, contract until 2024. There are already some big clubs like Bayern. He wants to take them, like De Ligt. He really wants to be on the player. Pay attention, Juventus. They want also to speak with the agent to already extend the player's contract, because that's one that I really want to see in the future. What about the bench players that came in for the second time? Perin, nothing to say about him. Miretti, yesterday a lot selfish. He really wants to score that goal, and I believe that faster he can score that goal, more and faster he will unlock himself mentally. On his performance, great from Miretti yesterday. He played really well in his natural role, much better than in that kind of fake 10, fake 9 or whatever position it is. Ealing Junior paid a bit the change of strategy in the second part of the second half, where we played with 4 in the back and where he played a bit like a left back. He paid a bit of consequences, not a lot of shining, sparkling moments of Ealing Junior. Anyway, he was there and he's happy. Ake coming back, and that's also a question mark for him. What about Ake? Where will we play him? What is his role in that team? I don't know. Then you had Barrenechea that grew much better than versus Arsenal. Barbieri didn't have a lot of time at his disposal to prove himself, but it was okay. Compagnon, the same story. But then we saw again Nongue on the field, and especially Mbangula 2004, again for the first time a new player in the first team, that yesterday in 2-3 touches he was really showing a lot of beautiful things. Guys, this is what I wanted to say about the players. We went through all of them. Which one impressed you the most? Let me know in the comment, because now we start with the second part of the video. Le ambizioni della Juve non cambiano. The ambitions of Juventus doesn't change. Why? And who said that? Well, Scanavino, new general director of Juventus. What will be his future role at Juventus? We will discover it on the 18th of January. We will have to wait until Monday to see who are in the list to be on the board of directors. But anyway, Scanavino apparently is here to stay. Cherubini next to him, will he be there next year? That's a big question mark. More and more people are rumoring that it's the last season of Cherubini. Anyway, Scanavino is here to stay, and he said to the team before the game, reassuring all of them, guys, don't worry, Juventus is and it will always be the same Juventus, a Juventus that is ambitious, that wants to win. Things that were repeated yesterday by Massimiliano Allegri. Massimiliano Allegri that said, I want to continue and to play 37 games. The 37 remaining games, you will tell me, Beppe, 37, it's a lot. Well, all the ones of Serie A that we are obliged to play, all the ones of Coppa Italia, meaning going to the final, but also all the games of Europa League. So, and the ambitions of Scanavino were really translated into objectives for Massimiliano Allegri and his team, made of senior players and also from young players. They all want to play all the remaining games at disposal, and this gives me really a lot of good feeling, even if in a second we will read the other things what they are saying about Juventus, especially Gazzetta dello Sport. Well, Bremer he also understood the message, and he started playing and training, or at least training, he's at La Continassa, before everyone else from Brazil. He's there, he wants to be a starter, undiscussed versus Cremonese. Great, I love it, because we see the result of Locatelli already, that is already performing much better than all the other ones, because he started earlier than the other ones. Locatelli is in the middle of that picture that we are watching now, with Rabiot on the left and McKennie. Why? Because three midfielders, one has to leave. One at least has to leave, maybe already in January. The left one, Rabiot, the right one, McKennie, if our offer arrives of 30 million, he could potentially leave. Rabiot, if an offer arrives of 10, 15 million, he could also potentially leave to cash in a bit. What about Locatelli? Well, not in January, but maybe the future, because Real Madrid is already on him. Ancelotti identified in Locatelli one that can fill in the midfield of Real Madrid. He have other objectives, it's not their priority. Well, guys, Ancelotti, Real Madrid, leave us alone, because I invested a lot of trust in Locatelli. I don't believe that he will leave, but you never know. For one that can leave, Rabiot or McKennie in January already, we will have to wait for that guy. The guy that was making actually yesterday 200 selfies in the phone of Cuadrado. Really funny moment with Cuadrado then on Instagram, that was pissed off, really pissed off, because the phone was full of selfies of Pogba. We go to the third part of the video with Gazzetta dello Sport again, speaking about in big Milan, speaking about how great Inter is with Lukaku, that is ready, blah 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 blah. And then on the right side, Di Maria, yes, Vlahovic, Bo. What does that mean, Bo, in Italian? We don't know, I don't know. Apparently these are the words of Allegri, putting actually Juventus a bit in difficulty. If you are really reading into the page, they are saying in big titles, Di Maria, he will be super, and Chiesa will be there. What about Vlahovic? Big question mark. We know all the rumors and the voices about Vlahovic being out of Juventus already in January, with Premier League teams that are on the Serbian player. Well, they are scaring a lot of Juventini, especially if you don't read all the article. Hey, Max Allegri already gave up on the Serbian number 9 of Juve. Really strange. Do we have to worry as Juventini? Well, when you are reading all the articles, actually, you see just one sentence asked to Allegri about the players. He said indeed that he had some phone call with the World Cup winners and also the one that lost, Rabiot. He said they are ultra motivated to give a lot to Juventus, Di Maria, Paredes, but also Rabiot. I have absolutely no doubt about the motivation. They will be back and they will give their best for Juventus to go to these 37 games. What about Chiesa? He will be there to play that friendly versus Standard de Liège. Bonucci, certainly not. What about Vlahovic? Well, question mark. We don't know yet, because he has that pubalgia, the growing pain. So actually, Allegri answered the question about the physical condition for the game of Standard de Liège, the friendly, not even about Cremonese. And Gazzetta dello Sport is doing a really big scandal. Anyway, there is a beautiful movement, I don't know. There is a movement on Twitter, on social media, Gazzetta that is actually going with the hashtag blocca la Gazzetta. Do I need to translate it? Block the Gazzetta. A lot of Juventini, it's enough. It's enough for Gazzetta dello Sport that is always trying to manipulate the truth, putting big titles. We will go in Serie B and this and this and this. Juventini are fed up with Gazzetta dello Sport and they are starting to block them. Will I stop reporting what Gazzetta dello Sport is saying? No, I support the movement. Why not? But for me, it's important to read them, to understand what they are saying about our beloved Juventus, so that I am able to defend Juventus. Otherwise, it will be too easy for Gazzetta dello Sport to continue to throw S on us. Corriere dello Sport, Juve, ecco le prove, Juventus, here are the evidences. Well, I'm curious, tell me, what are you speaking about actually? The profit cases, the plusvalenze, they will reopen then. Not for everyone, not for Napoli, but for the other 9 teams that were involved, they will reopen the dossier, the investigation. Why? Because apparently they found actually new evidences. They have now 1 month to make sure that they or reopen definitely the case, or that it will be closed forever and put into archives. I'm really curious to follow that also, because they are speaking about new evidences. Plusvalenze, double page, you know, the space that Gazzetta dello Sport is giving to these cases, they love it. Plusvalenze, again with Pjanic, again with Arthur in the front there, again with Agnelli, always the same pictures. We are reopening the affair, the case is reopened. New trial for Juventus and other clubs. Or Juventus, always Juventus. First Juventus and then the other clubs. Why not Napoli? Well, it's quite easy. Not because Napoli everything is good and everything is fine. It's because they are investigated for that Osimhen deal with the judges of Napoli, south of Italy, while Juventus and the other clubs are judged by the ones from the north. And that's why you don't see the name of Napoli. Really strange. So let me see what are the evidences. Well, apparently they found a small paper on A4 page where Juventus is actually speaking with Sion, a club from Switzerland, when they are saying Anderson here, Cotier here, that's the value of the player, 4 million, our player is 2.85, we are splitting the value over 3 years or maybe even 4 years, so we need a X player to actually arrive at the same money, to have actually more or less the same money in the books, in the balance. I see nothing really wrong here, or tell me what is the problem of that page. If that is the evidence, my friends, I don't know. And this is actually what Juventus yesterday put into that official statement. Juventus, they will continue to defend themselves. We received a notification of a possible reopening of the affair, but Juventus will defend themselves, especially because there is a lack of the prerequisite of the proposed appeal. Lack of new evidences. This is what Juventus was saying. Guys, long video today, long because we had to split it, and every time that they will continue to throw S on Juventus, I will be there to try to report it. I will try to reassure you. That doesn't mean that I'm here to tell you that Juventus is not guilty, that they didn't do anything, that we are saints, that we are holy. That's not the objective of the channel. The objective is to tell you what it is, to filter these big titles and to reassure you that what you are reading probably are the big titles, like the case of Vlahovic, punto di interrogazione, point of interrogation, of question mark, Vlahovic out of Juventus. No, actually they are just speaking about the growing pain that he will miss the game versus Standard de Liège. Anyway, it is what it is. Put a maximum of like if you want to, if you appreciate the work. Subscribe to the channel, continue, because we hit 23. That doesn't mean that we can't go for new objectives, 24, 25. I would love to go for 35 at the end of 2024. Who knows? Dreaming